It's about time we're live because I can't hold this smile for so long. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show. Um, we have a wonderful guest. I'm not going to give away the name yet, but he's a real estate investor, has been doing so for more than 15 years, an author, real estate agent as well, I believe, or broker. But we'll make sure that we find that out right after this. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. Jonathan and I look very tan. We were both on vacation, not together, but in a similar area. A lot of sunshine, a lot of beach,
Yeah.
a lot of adult beverages in the sand. Um, Once again, thanks for joining us on the Real Estate Investors Show. Hard money for real estate investors. We are Carolina Capital Management. We're lenders for real estate investors in the Southeast. If you're interested in borrowing money, go to carolinahardmoney.com. Click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, click on the Accredited Investor tab. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell.
Try to get that one every
And
time.
also, don't forget to sign up for Wednesday with Wendy. Well, yeah, I always forget my pause to show our wonderful graphics.
I never knew you paused. I
Well,
thought it was just one long-winded conversation.
I didn't really pause. He just turned my mic off.
Yeah.
That's what they do to me. Wednesday with Wendy is Wendy's way of giving back. She puts one day a week, and obviously it's Wednesday.
Yeah. Anything you have any questions about real estate or building your own real estate empire, portfolio, whatever it is?
Yeah, and again, it's 30 minutes. It's a one-on-one. All you have to do is sign up. There's the link. Get on her calendar. She usually is a couple of months out. So go ahead and sign up. Even if you don't have anything to talk to her about, by the time your turn comes around, you will.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
All right. So without further ado, our friend Max Keller. I want to introduce him. Come on, Max. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for
What's happening? Good to see you
joining us today. Your hands are in so many things. You're unbelievable. I don't see how you get so much accomplished in a short period of time. Do me a favor, though. Give us a little summary of how you got started in the real estate business.
Sure. Well, it was by accident and sort of by necessity. So I started out, I was teaching before I got into real estate. My family was growing. I wanted to make more income. So I was just going to do real estate part-time, get a couple of rentals a year or something like that. And just kind of build something, a little bit extra. And then I started doing real estate in 2015. I had started as early as 2005, but I just didn't know what I was doing, and I couldn't seem to put all the pieces together. And so then, fast forward 2015, I started making good chunks of active income, and I was like, I should probably just keep doing this for, this could easily, a few deals is my whole teacher salary. So I decided to leave teaching, just go full-time real estate, and just start scaling it up, built out, a little office and started doing more deals. And then, there was definitely some market challenges, probably like 2017. And that's where I kind of decided to pivot a little bit and focus on a particular niche, which we'll talk about later. And then I decided to find kind of a new way to market for leads. And, we'll cover some of that too and give, folks listening an idea. If you're in a market where deals are tight and it's tough to, get people to call you back and just, even sell their house, maybe, what I've done is can be instructional and, help you.
Excellent. By the way, everyone, Wendy is in transit. She's on her way to Jackson, Mississippi to work with Walter Walford down there on a short-term rental conference. But she will be passing through TSA soon and try and join us at the airport. Max, Are you a real estate broker as well? Are you licensed?
Yeah, I'm licensed as an agent, but I am licensed in a state that I don't live in. I just did it to build an EXP team
Sure.
because I get paid on the overrides underneath. Because I was
Right.
keeping deals here in my state, but I didn't have time to go work them. But I couldn't really legally, I mean, I know people do it, but you're not supposed to. I don't want to. I don't want to be in the gray area. We don't have to. This is a good business. Just do it right. So
Sure.
I just went and got my license, and then I can take my leads, send them to somebody, and still monetize them without having to work on myself.
No, understood.
Mhm.
I would like to. I know we got some other stuff to cover, but I love the book that you did, Home to Home,
Mm-hmm.
helping people figure out what to do with aging parents.
Yeah.
What do you do with the assets? How do you
Right.
get the best bang for your buck? You want to talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah. So what happened is it's 2017. I'm 2 years into flipping houses. I've done about 120 houses personally in these last 5 years. But I'm at about deal number 40 or so, 2017. And the competition, I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. The competition just started going way up. It wasn't for lack of effort. I mean, like I was doing yellow letters. I was cold calling. I had 2 people that were helping me buy houses. I was doing all the stuff that you're supposed to do, but my return on ad spend just kept getting lower and lower. And the reason was because pretty much everybody in my market was inundating the same people with the same message. And I was just another investor in the stack of mail. And so what I did was, go ahead. Yeah, right. It happens.
You're just noise. It's no one. They couldn't differentiate you from anyone else.
Exactly. So what I did was I made a list. I was actually getting really frustrated with the business because I just felt like a commodity. And so I was like, I'm either going to do something a little different or I'm going to just leave and not do this anymore because it's just not worth it. And so I made a list of the things that like actually matter to me. And so for me, I wanted to do deals where I made a good profit on a deal. It takes me about the same amount of time to do a high profit deal as a skinny one. So I want to just do those. I don't care. I'm not worried about impressing people with how many deals I do. I'd rather do 12 deals that are really, really amazing than 36 thin ones because I don't have as much risk on those. So more margin. My lenders are all super happy when you have, higher margin deals, on and on and on. So I wanted to do those. I wanted to work with people that actually like saw me as a trusted guide for them, not just, I would go and like show comps to people at their houses and they would argue with me. And they don't know what's going on with their neighborhood, not being disrespectful, but it's like, I'm the professional here, not you. Otherwise, why are you calling me? And so I didn't like that. I like working with people who were like, we need your help. Please help us. Thank you. And I just want to work with people that were just nice people. I'd have some people call me. I went to the Grand Prairie, our city in our town jail to go bail somebody out of jail to go to the closing. I'm just like, did I really get to this point in my life to be doing this? Is this the highest and best use of my time? Like, I'd have people they call me 1 minute and they were happy. Then the next minute they call screaming and cussing. And I'm like, that's not where I'm at. Okay. And so here's what happened. So most of the deals I already done, they didn't meet all 3 of those criteria, which was obvious because that's why I wasn't very happy. But the ones who did, you didn't have to be a math teacher to figure out what the pattern was. They were all seniors. And I was like, huh. And so I dug deeper and I looked into it and I found out that most of these seniors, the leads that I was getting, they weren't coming from my normal campaigns. They weren't on, the pre-foreclosure list. A lot of them own their houses outright. And when I went over to their houses, sometimes when I would buy them, I wouldn't even have the highest offer. And so I called one of those sellers and I said, hey, do you remember me? I bought your house like about 6 months ago. And they're like, yeah. And I go, well, did you have a higher offer from someone else? And they're like, yeah. And I go, well, why did you go with me? And they said, basically it's because they trusted me and they felt like I was actually there trying to help their parents, not just give them a sales pitch. And for them, where they were in their life, that was worth more than $10,000 difference. And so that was kind of the aha moment. I didn't get the idea for the book until I was actually bought a house at a motivated seller's house, and the dad was there. I helped him find a new place to live, bought the house in Richland Hills, Texas, and all of his kids were there, and they were all in their like 50s, 60s. You know, that's the age when, you know, your parents start to get up there and you're dealing with all this. And they said they were really appreciative. You know, like one of them was crying, you know, because the family home's being sold. Like they're in their 50s and 60s, and they grew up in that house.
Sure.
But they needed to. You know, the dad was falling down. He couldn't take care of himself, and I was like, so one of them came up to me and they said, you know, you've helped their family a ton. You know a lot about this. You know, you should write a book about this. And if I was getting picked in high school as least likely to write a book or even read a book, it would have been me out of 500 kids. Like, I was like, there's no way I'm writing a book. You know, I'm
Good
just
thing we don't get judged by what we do in high school, huh?
thank goodness. Yeah, we can level up. You know, I'm like, I'm dyslexic. I can't write a book. Turns out that people can help you. And, you know, it just takes a little longer. And so at first I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But then I said, you know, that's actually a good idea. I've seen people in other industries, you know, other verticals, use a book and position themselves as an expert, as an authority. And it was really effective. And so I was like, I'll give it a go. I basically just wrote down all the questions that these homeowners were asking me, you know, all the questions that they should know, just kind of like a peer behind the curtain kind of book. And it's just a how-to informational guide. And it took a couple hundred hours to write it. I wrote it. And that was the first book. And I just started giving it out to my normal marketing, but I would let people know about the book on it. And I get all these extra calls. And then I had a church call me up and they said, hey, we got a copy of your book. Can you come in, like, speak and like maybe sign some books and give them away to people? And, you know, I had 3 workshops in 1 week. I got 4 deals. I actually just got a deal from it a few weeks ago. And the lady held on to my book for 2 years, which is insane. Nobody's holding on to my yellow letters or postcards for 2 years. So it's like, you know, I did this work once and I go get copies for $5 and I give them to somebody and they cherish it. It's not a piece of trash. It's not another one of those letters from those damn, you know, sharks or scumbags or whatever they call real estate investors sometimes, because there's a few people giving us a bad name. They're like, oh, here's a really nice young man who's trying to help people, which is true. And I'm trying to build my business. And, you know, investors are smart. So my friends in my mastermind were like, hey, I like what you're doing with this. You know, you're not buying houses in Florida. You're not buying houses in Chicago. Can we use your book somehow? And I'm like, I don't know what, like, I don't understand. And then I kind of started learning more about it and figuring it out. And then we created a licensing program to where our authors, which are normally experienced investors, brokers, agents, they see the value of a book, but they don't want to write one themselves. So they pay a flat fee. They fill out a form. It takes about an hour. And we customize and create an edition just for them. They pick the title. They pick the cover. We write in about them. So in like 1 hour of their time, in less than 30 days, they have a book done for motivated sellers or private lenders, you know, or whoever. We have different ones. And then they can just give it out and use it as their business card. And it's kind of cool because it allows you to like just make the other stuff that you already do work better, because when you have a book, people just trust you more. People who aren't ready to do something just call you to get a free copy of the book. But then it also opens up some new stuff, new marketing channels, because marketing is important. And if you're not getting leads in your business, you don't have a business. And so I knew it was like an important area. I didn't know what it would all turn into. I didn't expect there to be a publishing company or any of that. It just sort of happened. So, you know, when you said at the beginning, I'm in a lot of things. Really, I'm in the marketing of a lot of things, but it's all about marketing because every company needs that. It's the most important skill. So this has been a way that we can kind of, you know, turn up the horsepower and create something once and get a benefit from it for a long time.
Absolutely. And marketing is not just 1 or 2 things. It's the many spokes in the wheel that it takes to get your name out there and give people an opportunity to decide really whether they want to do business with you before they ever talk to you.
Well, and he found a great way to, you know, basically exclude all those transactional people and build on all the relational people like that.
Right.
That's what you want. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I like the fact that you also came out with a workbook that went along with the book. So
Yeah.
You could sit down with the family and go through a family plan and figure out where each one is individually, almost like a financial planner would.
What you said is exactly right. And that is the best part of the whole thing, is because this disrupt, everybody's talking about foreclosures and evictions and stimulus money. That's not the real story. The real story in real estate right now, in single family real estate, is that real estate right now is going through, or when's the market going to reset, or all these questions that don't matter. The question that matters is what are you going to do, and how are you going to come through the other side when real estate's going through the largest disruption in its entire history? Wall Street is buying hundreds of thousands of homes. They're paying 30 or 40 grand more than you could ever imagine paying in a million years. And they're trying to disrupt and get rid of all the transactional people in our business. And the reason is because real estate, transactional real estate, is a $1.6 billion market. It's the largest undisrupted market. So if we look at financial services, which actually we modeled this entire program off of, and I got a lot of the ideas from that, because in the late 90s, when the internet started, I was in college and I wanted to be in financial services. I wanted to be a stockbroker. Y'all remember those?
Yeah.
Right? $20, $50 a trade. Now there's no, you don't pay anything for trades. But what happened is that the stockbrokers, by the time I got to college, I couldn't be a stockbroker because they had already pivoted from stockbroker to financial advisor. Those were the people, like, people knew that they were paying more to work with a financial advisor. They knew that. It wasn't like it was a secret. Every year that financial advisors have been in our country, the industry has grown, the profits have grown, because the population is growing of, those assets. There's always a percentage of people in every market that will pay more for something extra. And that's what happened with financial services. And so it was like, but the same disruption happened. Wall Street came in, they undercut the fees, and they went to online. Now, are there still people that process stock trades? Sure. Yeah. But do you think most of the stock trades are being processed by people or software?
I would say with a keyboard.
And the exact same things happen in real estate. And if you don't know what to do, you're going to be selling insurance in 5 years. You'll be totally out of business because Wall Street wiped out all the stockbrokers. And by 2004, you're not getting $50 a trade to be a stockbroker. Nobody gets that. But You can if you have a financial advisor. So I was like, well, who's the financial advisor, non-fiduciary? Okay, of course, in our industry. All I see is a bunch of salespeople that talk about their option and not anybody else's, especially one that doesn't point to them money-wise. And I said, what can we do? How can we position ourselves to where we're giving people more value, not just a postcard, and we're in these folks' homes? Because here's the other thing I noticed. I got a CPA and a tax planning attorney. You're doing great, so I know you will. You do too. But I would go and hang out with my friends on the weekends at these cool locations and masterminds and stuff. I see you there. And we'd be talking to our financial people, especially towards the end of the year. And then I go home and I go meet with Mavis, who is a bus driver, and she's got a home and it's beat up, and she's got moocher grandkids that won't, leave the house, and she's on her own. She's got a little pension. She don't have no CPA. She doesn't have she doesn't have an attorney, a tax planning attorney. And I was like, who is going to help these people? Because there's nobody has a vested interest. There's no financial advisor going to talk to somebody that has no assets. You would have no business. And so I was like, man, I noticed when I was a teacher, I taught at an inner city school, and I taught kids who were struggling. They were 2 years behind. These were ninth graders that should have been juniors. And I taught, they'd have no food to eat. It's a tough thing. And then I teach some kids that were the pre-AP eighth graders that were going to, Vanderbilt and all these big schools. And what I noticed is that I had the closest relationship by far with the kids that struggled the most because they had the biggest gaps in their learning, and I could help them, with that, I mean, I could help them go into their games and just being like a person that cares about them. But when they have more needs and you help fill those needs, those people trust you more and they just love you more. Then the pre-AP honors kids, I mean, they were nice to me, but they didn't really need my help. They could roll in and make a 95 without really doing nothing. They were really smart. And so I kind of saw the same thing with the motivated sellers and in the seniors. There's this huge group of people, and it's a massive group, and it's the fastest growing group in the entire country. So it's like,
Absolutely.
so why would you not want to work with them? So I'm like, we can in a real leveraged, effective way, take a 2,000-year-old proven strategy, which is books and tablets and just written down communication. We could give it out to people. They cherish it. They keep it forever. It's like a bandit sign that's in their living room. So we don't put them out on the street anymore. We put them on our coffee table, and our book competes with all the other autographed books from the local real estate entrepreneurs, which is like zero. And so we just found that doing the workbook, sitting with those folks, my vision for it was kind of like for it to be like the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, which I went through a couple times. I taught it at my church. I thought it was a great program. Is it going to make you wealthy? No. But is it going to help you get to break even when you're struggling? Yeah. And so I just noticed that when I taught that class, it was people from all walks of life. We had dog groomers, we had attorneys, we had young people, we had old people. And so there's a lot of people who haven't figured out this money thing. There's a lot of people who haven't figured out what they're going to do with their house when they get old. And we have positioned ourselves to be the clear choice. And now we have about 120 people who license our content across the nation. We're the clear choice for those people to work with, because who else are they going to work with? A salesperson? We call it pivoting from going from, Dan Kennedy calls it, how do you pivot from being an annoying pest to a welcomed guest?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
I love that. And there's listen, Ashley Cash out in your area.
Yeah.
And I know she had been talking several years ago about the same problem that you faced with the competition in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And she found the same way. She was appealing to seniors where their interest wasn't in the immediate capital gain. It was more of, I'm having to move on. Is there a way that I can sell this home, possibly own or finance it, and then not have to deal with the immediate capital gain? And then if something happens to me later, the payments would go on to my heirs. And those are niches that the vast majority of high performance wholesale companies or fix and flip companies, they don't tap into this. They're either that transactional, I'm either going to get you or I'm moving on to the next one.
And what baffles me is they try to focus on this whole millennial vibe when the largest pool of homeowners and home buyers are 65 and older. It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's, I mean, can you make money doing there's two ways to get deals, transactional and relational. The reason a transactional minded person doesn't do what we do, one could be that they just don't know about it, but mostly it's because they're transactional minded. They don't give a shit about people. They're just focused on making money, and people are an unnecessary evil that get in the way of making money. And some people just feel like that. That's fine. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not judging them. That's up to them. It's just, I never felt like that. I always felt like my strength was the relational part. And I was a teacher, so I like teaching people stuff. I feel like I'm helping them. If I took care of my grandma for about 15 years. She took care of me. So we kind of switched, took turns.
Sure.
And the bottom line is I was that person for her when she would get reverse mortgage offers, and grandpa died in 87. And she lived almost another 25 years on her own. And so, she would get all these offers from all these people trying to sell her stuff, and they acted like they were trying to help her, but she wasn't stupid. She might have only, she had to learn English, when she was probably like 5 or 6, she learned English. She never really went all the way through high school or anything like that. Grew up on a farm, but she was smart. People can figure out when you're trying to help them or when you're trying to just help yourself. And so you don't even have to say anything. They'll figure it out. It's a feeling. It comes through. It's about your intentions. And so people whose intentions is just to churn through as many deals as possible and make money, they're not a good fit for our program. And that's okay. They're going to do fine at what they're doing, and it's all good. But if the intention is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Agreed. And there are people that have certain personality types that aren't really good with people. When they have to deal with them because they have to. And then at the end of the day, they want to try and wipe them all off of them. And those tend to be a little bit more transactional. The thing I never understood about the people that do not commit to the relational relationship is that you're going to end up getting more business from that. And you're going to always going to get warm leads because these people felt really good about you helping them and they really believed you helped them. You think they're not going to tell other people about your services? Yeah.
And that's the thing is like the people we actually get the most referrals from are the people that we don't ever do business with. That's a little secret. Most people don't understand. It's because when you really it's easy for us to come to the conclusion that the strategy that they need is something that we can help them with and we make money. Well, of course, we're going to be happy about that. What's a lot harder as a business owner is when the person sitting across from you really needs a different strategy than you can profit from. And then you just straight up tell them that. But that's the difference between there's always going to be short-term people and long-term people in every business and every industry. And because short-term feels better and it's more exciting. And I don't know why people, you would never eat a burger if you're that's not good for you, but people do it short-term versus long-term. I always say it's, hard choices now, easy choices later, where on the converse, it's, easy choices now, hard choices later. And so if you're going to be in real estate for a while, if you're only going to do real estate for a couple of years and just crush it with your straight billed hat and it's so fake and you're appealing to these buyers that will, these people who are going to these buyers, I don't know about you, but for me, seniors, I've noticed they're slow to trust because so many people are trying to come at them with stuff. But when they do trust you, they're extremely loyal. They're not going to sell you out for $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 difference. And so being transactional in our business, it's not going to work because you're trying to fight a price war with Wall Street that you can't win. Like right now in your city, there's hundreds of people that have a smartphone and they upload pictures of their house and they're getting an offer for their house, all cash, for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 more than you could ever pay in a million years. So do you think that kind of technology, Jeff Bezos said, it's really hard to tell what's going to change in the next 5 or 10 years because the future is uncertain. What's easier to predict is what's not going to change. Well, here's what we're betting on. What's not going to change is the fastest growing demographic in our country by far, by a landslide, is going to be seniors. What's not going to change is Wall Street's appetite to buy these single family homes because the returns are good. And what's not going to change is their ability to pay more than a regular local person and push out every transactional real estate person. Pretty soon, the real estate agent is going to be like the taxi cab driver. And they're going to get totally pushed out because why would somebody pay them 3% if they can go on Redfin and get 1% deal? Well, I'll tell you why. It goes back to what I said earlier. Because in every single market, there's always a group of people that are willing to pay more to have a trusted guide help them walk through a complicated situation. That will be the last piece of the business that is left for people to participate in. So they can either figure it out now, figure it out never, or start to consider the idea. And that's really all there is. There's not really a ton of options at this point. Do y'all agree or disagree?
I agree.
Good.
I'm sorry. We went away for just a moment. I don't know what the heck happened, but all of a sudden our feed went away. But, I've been following this too with all the hedge funds buying all this property.
Yeah.
They have a vested interest other than the fact that they get good returns. They want to keep the values of these assets at a high level So they continue to buy them. And if they start unloading any of them, it's going to start to, I don't think the values are going to go down, but the appreciation isn't going to be as, the percentage of the depreciation isn't going to go up as high. But that being said, they also feel like the millennials, about 63% of millennials are never going to own. They're always going to rent.
That's right.
And so it is a great investment for them. And the vast majority of families want to rent a house, not an apartment.
Yep.
And so they are a great deal. And
They are.
they're going to continue to be a great deal. That's why we love the single family housing market. It is an easy, more liquid asset that you can get into in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to stay, as far as a lender, we want to be in the affordable housing space because that's the most liquid. And worst case scenario, as far as we're concerned, is as the banking side of things, is that if we ever have to take them back and we end up with another 2008 and everyone is a seller and no one is a buyer, I can still rent them out for what our expected return is going to be. You can't do that with $1 million house. So we love that space. We're just about out of time here, but I wanted to ask you quickly, these books that you're putting together and licensing them out. First of all, you're home to home. You have any states left?
Yeah, a few.
Okay. And then you said you have one for private lenders. You have one for senior living as well, correct?
Yes.
And you have opportunities for other people that may be in that industry to talk to you about customizing a book for them or licensing one out?
Yeah. We can. What we do is we'll put a link down below that we have for a free copy of our newest book. So if this talk today has kind of spurred your mind and you're like, hey, there's something to this book thing. I like this idea. If you want to create a book yourself, we wrote the first book of its kind. It's called the Real Estate Investor Book Writing Checklist. And you can go to dealschasingU.com/suite to get a copy of that. It's basically the framework that we use for every book that we write. So it's the framework that I didn't really have when I wrote my first book. I had to write it and then get about halfway and rewrite it. And so anyways, we sell that book, but I'm offering it to your audience just for a limited time while this link's up. You can download a copy of it for free. And then there'll be some links on our website where you can kind of look at some of the trainings we have about the different types of systems. And then if you want to apply, it's by application only. You can click the link, see if your area is still available, book a call to talk with somebody on my team, and just, see if it's a good fit or not. If it is, then we'll tell you what the next steps are. And if it's not, we'll point you in the direction that is best for you. It's all good.
Excellent. Well, we'll make sure we have that over in the chat section as well. Those of you who are watching, you can copy that chat side too fairly easily. I forget this is StreamYard. In YouTube, you can copy it, the chat side fairly easily without having to copy and paste. Facebook, you can do the same thing. There's a little place you can right click and it'll just say copy chat. Is there anything else that you would like to mention? What else is going on with you that people can get involved with?
Let me think. Wow, that's a great question. I don't know. I've just been reading a lot. I read a lot. I write a lot. Deals are good here in Dallas. I'm telling you, I'll just say this. Whether you license our book or you license somebody else's book or you write your own book, if you've never considered being an author and writing a book, and you're a business owner in any industry, consider it. Okay. Yep. I haven't found one thing in my I'm only 40, but I've never found anything that's even close. I mean, I have people come up to me at the airport, want to get their picture with me. I go speak at just like a local senior center and they're like so excited and they want to take their pictures and all this. And I'm like the most Z-list celebrity of all time. like I know that. Okay. But it's like, and I'm not trying to be a celebrity. I'm cool if you guys know about me and my family and some people at church and that's it. I don't even have my face on my book. I don't care. I don't care about all that. I'm not trying to get famous. I'm trying to help these seniors because they need our help. And I just couldn't figure out a way to do it on my own unfortunately, 85% of books that are purchased are never read. And I don't know what it is for a free book, but it's probably even lower. But what's cool is now with all the licensees, our real estate professionals, they've got a vested interest to be able to use this education to get in front of people, help them get to the next level, really teach them something.
Sure.
And so, yeah, it's just been really fun. But if you've never thought about a book, download the book writing checklist. The principles that we teach in that book apply to any industry, and either write your own book or get into a licensed book. There's pros and cons with each, but take a look at it because they still work. They work really well.
Well, I have the same issue in the airports as well, but people stop me and hand me their phone and ask me to take pictures of them. Max, it was great talking with you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Folks, Max has got a great way to help you market your business with utilizing a book. And I'm telling you, at worst, it's the best business card you could ever have. At best, it's going to get you tons of business, and it's going to help people as well. So thanks again for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show, Hard Money for Real Estate Investors. We are Carolina Capital Management, and we make loans to real estate investors in the Southeast. If you're interested in getting a loan, just go to our website, carolinahardmoney.com, and click on the Apply Now tab. If you are a passive investor looking for passive returns, click on the Accredited Investor tab. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. And once again, don't forget to sign up for Wednesday with Wendy. So we have another show coming up at 1 o'clock. Stay tuned. We will talk to you later. Have a great day.